Hello, welcome to another one of my You Ask, I Answer video, and this one focus more on all the questions that it focus on all the questions that I got for my contest that I didn't have a chance to answer yet. I will try to fit everything in a 15-minute format and then do another video to answer more questions. So let's see if we can roll through these as fast as I can. Wayne Cope asked, if you could be any superhero, who would you be? Easy answer for me, Wolverine. Wolverine was my favorite for, you know, it was love at first sight. I like his personality, um, as well as his healing power, and he can live for a long time, and definitely that's I love to live as long as I can, and you know having that kind of power to heal any kind of damage or disease is just fantastic. Hey, who doesn't want to live forever or as long as possible, right? And to eat, live, good stuff. Okay, next. La Raza from the UK. If you could get a piece of original art, which would that be? Wow, Raza, that's a tough question. A great question, but a tough one. Wow. If I can, it's so hard to pick one really, but if there is one, I would say that would have more sentimental value to me because it has something special would be the cover for Iron Man 150. Okay, just because my first comic book that I bought in the US is Iron Man 150, to me having that cover would mean a whole lot more than say owning a cover for Amazing Fantasy 15. Would owning Amazing Fantasy 15 be amazing? Absolutely, but I think owning the Iron Man 150 would touch a spot here a little bit deeper. Okay. The other question she has is also, what kind of covers are your favorite? Color scheme, style? Uh, you know, I think I'm hardwired like most people. I like bright red. I mentioned this in many of my videos. I like the color red, yellow, black, green, blue, vibrant stuff. It doesn't have to be action covers, so I'm fine with covers that are not action packed. I prefer, covers that fit the theme of the book. That's one reason why I love horror covers, because it fit the theme of all the horror books. So it's dark and um, scary, and then you have the war books that are gritty. So it's hard for me to pick a color that's my favorite. And to me, as long as the color fit the scheme and the theme of the book, I'm okay with it. But no doubt, for superhero action, red. I go with red all day long. Okay, red is my favorite. As far as action superhero titles, no doubt. For the horror stuff, I go with black. And last part of the question is, if you had time machine, which year would you travel to? 1961, the birth of the Marvel age. If I could, no doubt in my mind, I would. I think it would be a lot more fun compared to say pick a number like oh, I want to go back to 1938 to pick the first action one. I love you know, hey, if I have a time machine to go back to 1961 to experience the mania, the birth of the Marvel Age, and to see the excitement of the fan with the birth of the Marvel Age, I can still go and buy a copy of Action 1 for very cheap. So to me, if I had to pick one and can only use a machine one time, I pick 1961. Alright, let's move on to another question. Okay, this one might be the last question for this video because it's gonna be lengthy and would probably require a good 10 minutes to answer. Tech 31 Kid, Ben. His question is, do you think Steve Borak new comic grading company will do? How well do you think Steve Borak new grading company will do compared to CGC? If you are not aware, for the viewers, Steve Borak, the first, the man that, the first employee, the person that helped create CGC back in 1999, left CGC a few years ago, and then he went on to work at Heritage Auction. Is one of the main person to consign, to get books into all the major auction that you see at Heritage. Recently he announced that he started another grading company, CBCS. Okay, so if you want to Google that, they have a Facebook page also, so you can see it, but it's CBCS grading. As of right now, I think they are getting ready for the big rollout. I don't think everything is up and running fully yet. Not that I'm aware, but as of right now, mid-June, I think they're aiming for a grand opening, big launch in July. And how well do I think it would do? I think it would do very well. CBCS does not need to take a lot of potential market from CGC to survive. Okay, you think about this. You know, by my estimation, if CBCS can get something like 15% of the market, even, you know, that low, they will do okay. So if that's that's how low the bar is, I think getting 15% of the market is not gonna be hard. You know, certainly there are a lot of loyalties from existing CGC client, but the average person, the average collectors that attend conventions, that stand in line to get signatures, to stand in line to get sketch covers, that's the huge growth of the market. Okay, there is no doubt in my mind, without even needing to take a look at the statistic, that the bulk of the submission in the last few years are modern books. And you know, sure, there are still a lot of, you know, Silver Age, Bronze, and some Golden Age, but those kind of submission is not what drive the busyness that's going on at CGC. Okay, if anyone that attend convention, or even hear of people attend convention and hear of the amount of submission that's going on at CGC booth as far as signatures and sketch and all that stuff, trust me, that's where the growth is. And in my opinion, the loyalty is not gonna be hardcore there, because if you have a grading company that another company, CBCS, that can set up a convention that can, you know, handle the same kind of grading as far as, you know, signature series and sketch and all that stuff. I think the younger collectors, the people that are fairly new to the hobby, they have no loyalty to CGC whatsoever, and they would have no problem standing in line to submit the book to CBCS if it costs $5 less per slabs. You know, that's I think is gonna be the key battleground for CBCS and CGC, is that area. It's not gonna be a battleground for gold, silver, and books. You know, those key books is not what drive the 2 million plus submission to CGC in the past 3 or 4 years. You know, I mean, if I glance at the statistics before I heard about CBCS a few months ago, and since 2010, in the last 4 years, the amount of books, the amount of modern books that were submit is humongous. It's significantly more than gold all the way through Bronze Age. Okay, modern books alone is more than all of the rest combined. So trust me, if CGC can prove that, I'm not concerned about the grading perception. You know, I think once the companies start to grade and submit and send out books, and people start to look at them, and people start to see them selling on eBay, the key thing for CBCS is being able to convince the market that submitting a book, their books command the same kind of price as CGC. Ultimately, that's what they need to be able to prove to the market, especially the young collectors, the modern submitter, that for the same grade in a CBCS slab, you can get the same value as a CGC slab. Because once you can prove that, then it's 50-50. You know, there is no reason for a young, newer collector to sit there and say, "Oh, I'm gonna go with CGC because they are the better company." You know, so there's a few moving pieces. It might take some time. I don't expect CBCS to, you know, to be able to get up and, you know, compete with CGC like that. You know, I would suspect it would take a while. You know, I think a lot of people forgot how the market was in 1999, 2000 for CGC. It took some time to ramp up. Back then, CGC had to fight the big hurdle of convincing the market that a comic in a plastic tomb is okay. Okay, so that's a big hurdle. And of course, the sale pitch has always been grading. So, you know, if you don't mind the book sitting in the plastic slab, but at the same time you have a peace of mind that, you know, the grade is good, is fair, and the restoration is checked, all that stuff, then that's why people slap the books. It was a big hurdle, and CGC overcame that, and, you know, by 2003 it took off really. You know, I think from 1999 to 2002 it was a good growth, but I think the big ramp happened more after 2002, in my opinion. And part of it too is, you know, it took some time for the market to understand the premium. You know, prior to the birth of CGC, people don't know how the market for 9.8 is going to be. You know, and one, people see the crazy prices that other people are willing to pay for 9.6, 9.8, game over, right? And then that the floodgate opens. So with CBCS, they have that already paved. Okay, so that's the easy part. They got that paved, and for me, the perhaps the best thing that CBCS have done has always is their billing policy. I have always, one of the reason I stopped using CGC for the most part in the past 2 or 3 years is that I was tired of sending my books in, getting billed right away for it, and then have to wait 12, 13, 14 weeks for them to get graded. It's just, to me, that's not how I want to do business. And every time I complain about that point, quite a few people tell me, oh, that's normal business. I mean, if you go, there's nothing wrong with setting a price, and then if someone is willing to pay a higher fee, then they can cut the line and the company can push your stuff farther and farther and farther into the closet. What do they care? They already have my money, right? They already have everyone's money. So the moment that they have your money, instead of sitting home and grade the book, guess what? Let's go to the convention, set up to take in more books to make more money and make everything more late. So that was the kind of thing that drove me crazy. It drove me crazy right away. From the very first submission, it drove me crazy, and I put up with it. And after a few years, I just had it. I just couldn't take at first it was 8 weeks delay, and then it's 10 weeks, and then it's 12 weeks, and then on top of that, they keep on raising prices. So I'm just like, I'm getting slower service, higher costs. It's to me, I have suggested this to many people over the years that I understand the whole amusement park policy where you have different tier where you can pay more and cut the line and don't have to wait in line, all that stuff. But this is not Disney. This is not an amusement park. Okay. If I want to deal with that kind of nonsense, I go stay in line in Orlando, and guess what? I don't. I have never been to Disneyland. You know why? Because I refuse to go to kind of places where that kind of service exists. I don't. Obviously I might be the minority because there's no shortage of the line at Disney in Orlando. So I understand, a lot of people don't care, don't mind, don't give a damn. But as a consumer, I give a damn where my money is. So guess what? CGC ain't getting my money. If they keep doing that service, and CBCS is doing what most business are doing. You send in your books, it will sit there, and then when the books come off the closet in order to be graded, they will bill you. I think that's very fair because it's just like ordering something from Amazon. You don't get billed until the item is available to be shipped, right? So I have no problem ordering a DVD or any items or games or whatever on Amazon months ahead, knowing that I will not be billed. I can change my mind if I wanted to, but ultimately I do not want to get billed until the product is available to be shipped to me. And the same thing with CBCS. I think that's going to be a strong selling point. I think, I can only speak with my bias. I have a bias toward a company that charge me something and then make me sit 10 weeks, even though on their website they tell me something will take 20 business days. So yeah, that's my take on how CBCS will do well, because ultimately it does not need to take even 20% of the market to do okay. There's plenty of room for two companies to exist, and if anybody's gonna get hurt, most likely it's gonna be PGX. Anyhow, I look at the clock, and sure enough, it's run long enough for this ask and answer video. Until the next time.